Welcome to Courtside, everyone, a discussion of the post-election litigation brought by Donald Trump. It is day 55 after the election. The litigation count stands at 1 out of 60 cases that Donald Trump has won, and that one case didn't get him a single vote. There's big news tonight. Team Kraken has a true competitor, a rival for the throne. I know that you thought the pinnacle of lawyering was reached when Sidney Powell filed a lawsuit claiming that Hugo Chavez, who died in 2013, rose from the grave and maneuvered to steal the 2020 election for Joe Biden. But we actually have a true rival today, Representative Louis Gohmert of Texas, who is so dense that the light bends around him. He filed an absolutely bananas action in court today, in federal court in Texas. Like if there were an MVP award, but for MFL, most frivolous litigation, Louis Gohmert's, I think, got it this time. Here's what the lawsuit says. I kid you not. It says that the vice president is bound by the Electoral Count Act of 1887 to actually count the votes and the votes that counted in different states, but it says that that's actually wrong and unconstitutional. That the vice president is supposed to decide for himself, the lawsuit says, who should be president. And it goes on to say that different states have endorsed rival slates of electors. And they don't really precisely tell us who, but they do say Arizona and several others. And the lawsuit culminates with its claim that under the 12th Amendment to our Constitution, Vice President Pence has the power to pick the next president. Okay, I really don't know where to begin with this nonsense. So first of all, no legislature has appointed some rival slate of electors. Zilch, none in any state. The best they got is some dudes sitting around a Days Inn who, like they're in Tucson, say, pointing their own friends or something. I guess the noble imprimatur of Four Seasons Landscaping was booked or something like that, and so that's all they got, Days Inn. But look, there are ordinary processes for elections, and states have all set them up in advance. You don't, if you're like a Republican, get to like either Trump or the GOP, you don't get to run under those state processes that have been set up in advance, raise money under those state processes that's set in advance, have an election under those processes, and then when you lose, say, oh, my fingers were crossed, do-over, or something like that. And your solution in this lawsuit is what? To give the power to decide who picks the president and vice president to the current vice president? I mean, even Vladimir Putin couldn't come up with that. You got to go back to the original Stalin to find something that nonsensical. If the 12th Amendment really gave the vice president the power to pick the next president, do you only think that now we'd be finding out about this? And then would it take, of all people, Louis Gohmert, the Copernicus of our age, to discover it? I mean, this lawsuit is truly garbage. And that is a statement that is really mean to garbage. I mean, look, I guess I could, grab a piece of paper and file a lawsuit, Neal versus God. That's probably more legible than the actual lawsuit that Louis Gohmert filed. And do note that I did use the proper pen for this, the Crayola. I guess I could file that lawsuit, Neal versus God, and say, God, when we were together at the Days Inn, you promised me the world, you promised me the gold medal in skiing, you promised me I'd be a rock star. That lawsuit's more likely than this one. I mean, the idea that our founders who fought for the idea of democracy and rebelled against a perpetual monarchy and took up muskets and arms and sacrificed their lives and their blood, that they would be like, yeah, this election stuff, not that big of a deal. Don't worry, vice president, you decide. What nonsense. And this nonsense is all occurring at a time when 14 million Americans are tonight, they've run out of their unemployment insurance. They've been depending on those stimulus checks. And those stimulus checks should have been there today. But they weren't. Why weren't they there? Because our current president, Donald Trump, was too busy literally playing golf. He finally ended his golf game yesterday evening to sign the stimulus bill, which means finally, starting later this week, not today, some families are going to get some relief. But many are going to have to wait, if not this week, maybe even more than 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, all because of the president's damn golf game. And it's not like Trump is like great at golf or something. He's no Tiger Woods or anything like that. I mean, look at him. He probably cheated at golf too yesterday, or failed to even show up for that. I know we're all sick and tired of the incompetence, the grift, the lies. But the good news is change is coming. It's right around the corner. And tomorrow we're going to do a deep dive about it, and in particular, January 6th and the power of the vice president. I've got a New York Times op-ed coming out about this in the morning, and I can't wait to discuss it all with you. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a wonderful night tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow.